This is the Hot Zone. Engaging with the news in a whole new way, international war correspondent Chuck Holton brings insight into areas of crisis and lets you help those affected.
On December 9th, 2021, the U.S.-led combat mission in Iraq came to an official end after 6,850 days. That momentous occasion, however, did not equal a ticket home for the 2,500 U.S. troops still stationed in the country. Neither did it signal a change of mission for 900 troops currently serving in Syria.
I think the role of those troops has changed. The number of troops is about the same and will remain about the same. However, we will continue to negotiate the path forward in Iraq with the government of Iraq. I expect that we will continue to provide some limited support to the Iraqis going forward. But again, it's going to be essentially, by and large, it's going to be a non-combatant process.
Remaining forces will pivot to a slightly different role, one they call advise and assist. They'll be providing support to Iraqi forces in the effort to stamp out the enduring vestiges of ISIS, which was officially defeated in 2017, but is lately making a comeback. One neighbor clearly wants the U.S. out of the region.
Iran still pursues a vision of ejecting us from the theater, and they see the principal battleground for that as being in Iraq. And I believe they are under the view that they can increase friction in Iraq to where we will leave, and that will not affect the nuclear negotiations that are underway. That's not a military issue. That's an issue for U.S. national leadership. But I think it's a dangerous position for the Iranians to maintain, because I think they're not going to be able to decouple those two things. I think Iran has been disappointed by political developments in Iraq. They were disappointed with Prime Minister Kadhimi. They were disappointed with the outcome of this election, which is, pardon me, the inevitable result of their heavy-handed meddling in Iraqi politics, and reflects the will of the Iraqi population to sort of throw off that yoke. So I think what pushes them then, and through their proxies, and sometimes their proxies acting independently, is a recognition that they're not going to get there legally. So you got to get there through extra legal means, and that it means violence. And so that's why I think we're seeing a little uptick in it, and that uptick may continue throughout the month of December. We track it very closely. We look at force protection every day for our forces in Iraq and Syria.
Iran's president recently called for former President Trump and his top advisors to be charged with the 2020 killing of Iranian General Qasem Soleimani.
The then President of America, which is the main aggressor, murderer, and a criminal, must be prosecuted and killed. A sentence of God must be executed against him.
They're really frustrated over their inability to affect government formation in the way they want to do it. I mean, I think an attack to kill the prime minister is a pretty significant event, and so I think that's a signpost of the desperation that they're under right now. Additionally, they actually want all U.S. forces to leave. And all U.S. forces are not going to leave. Instead, we have reshaped the force, and we're going to continue in a non-combatant relationship with Iraq going forward.
During this massive memorial held in Tehran on the anniversary of Soleimani's death, American and Israeli flags were burned, and the familiar chant of "Death to America" echoed through the streets. Adding to regional instability, popular mobilization forces backed by Iran had been threatening violence if the U.S. did not pull out by the end of 2021. Now they're making good on those threats. Since the beginning of the year, missiles have been fired at U.S. bases in the region on an almost daily basis. So far, no injuries have been reported, as the killer drones were brought down by counter-rocket, artillery, and mortar batteries, which can fire more than 4,000 rounds per minute. The U.S. is now striking back in retaliation, which shows the combat phase of this conflict might not be over after all. For CBN News, I'm Chuck Holton.
The Hot Zone is produced by Amy Holton and Livefire Media.